In this video, we'll go through the entire process of creating a dialog box in Qt Designer, and then in Dialog Design, we'll automatically generate the Daz Script code. To design your dialog box, you'll need to use Qt Designer, which is a free application. It ships with Daz Studio, and you'll find it on your hard drive in the same directory as the Daz Studio application. So once you've found it and launched it, go ahead and click File, New. Now here's an important point. You'll need to unfold the Templates/Forms button and choose Dialog Without Buttons. That's the only one that will keep you out of trouble. So remember to click Dialog Without Buttons and hit Create. Now we can begin building our dialog box by dragging widgets from the left-hand side here, called the widget box. Not all of the widgets are supported. Some of them don't have direct equivalents inside of Daz Studio, so you'll need to consult the user guide for a list of all of the supported widgets. Let's start with the tab widget. You'll notice that as you drag things around that there's an underlying grid, which allows you to line things up and space things easily. Let's go ahead and name the tabs. In the right-hand side of the screen, there is the property editor, and right here is where you can name them. I'll just give them any old name for illustration purposes here. If we wanted to add a new tab, right-click, Insert Page. Now, not all of these properties are supported for every widget. In fact, for most widgets, only the most essential properties are supported, such as its name, and its geometry, which is the X and Y position and the width and height for that widget. Some of them have additional ones. For instance, the tab stack has the ability to decide which side of the widget you want the buttons to be on, north, south, west, or east. I'll stick with north for now. And let's begin adding some widgets to each of these tabs. Let's put in a combo box. If we wanted to add values to this combo box, you could double click it. And those values will carry over into your generated Daz script. Let's add also a text edit. In the next tab, let's create a group box and add some radio buttons. You can Control-click to duplicate a widget. And with the widget selected, if you want to move around in grid increments, you can just press the arrow keys on your keyboard. And if you want to move in pixel increments, you can hold down Control on your keyboard and then use the arrow keys. Let's add a line edit. And a label. Now let's create the buttons for the dialog box. I'll do that with a horizontal widget. And let's drag in 3 push buttons. Go ahead and name the buttons. Now, if we wanted the buttons to be pushed over to one side or the other, we could use a horizontal spacer. Let's say we wanted reset to be on the left-hand side. We could just drag it into place. And there we go. A final step would be to give appropriate names to each of the widgets. The name that you give a widget will be the variable name in the generated Daz script. So if you have any naming conventions that you like to use, this is the place to put those into practice. So I find it easiest to name the widgets up in the Object Inspector here in the upper right-hand corner. You can also name them one by one down here in the Property Editor, but I think it's easier to do it this way. So I'll go ahead and name all of these widgets. So now that we have the dialog box looking like we want it to, and we have all of the widgets named appropriately, we can go ahead and save the file. I'll save it to my desktop, and I'll just overwrite this one that I did before. Now we can go into Daz Studio and launch Dialog Design. Click on the File Browse button here at the upper right and navigate to the file that we just created. Now this dialog box allows us to select the Accept button and the Reject button for the dialog box. It tries to guess here based on common button names, but if you want it to be something else, you can just go ahead and click on it. Now here we see what the dialog box will look like as generated from our script. Once you've inspected it, you can close it and then take a look at your code. Now if there's anything that you'd like to change, you can go ahead and do that here in this window. Or you can, for instance, let's say you wanted to have the code packaged as an anonymous function. You can select that in the preferences. And instead of reselecting the file, you can go ahead and hit Regenerate Script. It will remember whatever buttons you have here, and it will make the change for you. Now, let's say that you wanted to change the name of something. You realize you forgot to do it. You can just leave this window open, go back into Designer, and make the change. And save it. Back in Dialog Design, hit the Regenerate button. And the change is made. From here, we can preview it. Now, I can see here that the name label is kind of protruding over the line edit there. So let's go take care of that. That should do it. Let's regenerate. And looks like it's fixed. So these three buttons down here, preview brings it up so that we can take a look at it and see what it looks like. To clipboard, copies your code to the clipboard so that you can take it into your favorite text editor and make any adjustments that you want. Or you can hit the To IDE button, which closes Dialog Design and opens up a new window inside of Daz Studio's IDE and pastes the code right there for further editing. Well, those are the basics of using Dialog Design. Thank you for watching.